One thing I think we've done at receiver, one thing we've done at receiver, I think we've had 2011. I had the #1 kid in the country, Zach Grant, kid who ended up not even getting a D1 offer. He had 143 catches for 2,600 yards, I think, in a season. And then, like I said, the kid and everything in between. And so, and he would get double teamed every game. And so how do you present that? It makes you practice. I think this is huge. You guys have all been there on a Sunday afternoon or Sunday night in your coaches meeting, and you're talking about polecat or whatever for 35, 40 minutes, and you're arguing and you're saying, how do we do this? And you haven't even really looked at what we do, right? It's almost like a bright light. We want you to look at this and distract you really from what we're doing. And so we want to make you practice. We want to make you talk about it as a coaching staff, and then we're going to make you practice it during the week. Swing gate, an extra point, things like that. The things that we're going to make you take time from what you really probably should be practicing against. The gap scheme, the no huddle, the things like that. We want to make you practice it as a team, and we're going to take you. Hey, you only have. If you have, as someone said, 6 hours in a week of time with your kids in practice outside. If we can make you spend 15 to 30 minutes on something not dedicated to what we're really doing per se, or what I would say is the key to our offense, we want to do that. And same thing with your coaching time. We want to make you guys talk about it and come up with a scheme against it. This is basically the same thing. The other thing it gives us, a lot of these plays, guys, are things that I don't have to add. It's going to look like I had to add something, but we're going to somehow do something, make a crazy formation, but really not change it for the players, right? I'm not adding new schemes every day, every week. I'm not adding. Now, there's a few things I will say maybe I add. That I do add, but I would say 85, 90% of this is rather a formation change a lot of times or something like that. But the plays are stuff we have already done. It's 101. It's quick game a lot of times and stuff. So we are not making them learn new things weekly, right? And that's the biggest question. How do you put this stuff in? Well, man, yeah, you got to put the formation and they got to understand it. But the plays, I try to keep somewhat consistent to what our offense is. You'll see a lot of this stuff it is fun for the linemen and it is fun for our backup receivers or in backup position, because I try to find ways for them to stay engaged and have fun with them a little bit. You'll see some of these linemen line up as receivers, and sometimes a lineman standing like a receiver out in space by himself, makes their day. I don't know why, but they absolutely love it. Backup receivers, we use them as linemen. We put them in for linemen. I'll get into all that in a second too. But it keeps those guys engaged, right? I'm going to reward people for being great blockers, especially receivers. I'm going to reward them for being smart and always being ready on the sidelines. And so it's something fun. And hey, you know what? It's fun. These kids getting some of these goofy formations and people ooh and ah, but the kids love it. They think it's fun, and that's what this is all about, man. It's having fun. We're high school coaches. We don't make a ton of money. And so and these kids nowadays, there's so many options. You better make it fun for them. They better enjoy it. They better enjoy their time. And this is just a little way that we try. Now, hey, don't be fooled again. I'm doing these things because I believe they serve a purpose and they're going to work, right? I just don't do it because it's fun. Now, because it's fun is a byproduct of what we're doing. But a lot of these things I think have a purpose and fit. And you'll see some of these things I'll do it against the worst team in our conference. Well, some of these things I've done in the state championship game, and so again, I'm just not doing it for fun. There's usually a reason. All right. So the first thing, let's get into it. First thing I'm going to show you is this. Man, I watched it. I saw that Canadian football, and I've seen this, and I thought, man, how can I implement this. And so basically what we're doing, it is a bubble concept, okay? But basically this X receiver back here, guys, what he's labeled as X, is about 15 yards back, okay? And let me show you what we're talking about here. So he's way back here. We get him a running start, and basically it turns into a quick screen, whatever. It's bubble blocking for our other receivers. What this does, in my opinion, is it gets our kid, this is our best player back here, it gets our kid a running start. It's like a punt return. Bubble, we're a backpedal bubble team, which I am a true believer in. There's not many things that I stick to, and I am, I guess, not it's non-negotiable, but those one of them is backpedal bubble. But the backpedal bubble, any bubble, it's a different pace, right? It's slow to fast. This hits you right now, right? This hits when you come at this distance. It hits you right now, and so now it gives my skill guy just a different approach, a different way. That means still bubble, still a numbers game. But we are getting him a running start. Now, we want to throw this quarterback. We want to throw this right in front of. We do not want to throw it behind. So we had and we have different athletes do this. So some kids are back at 15, some are at 13, right? And our quarterback here does a good job. He throws it right at the line of scrimmage. So even if they drop this, it wouldn't have been a fumble. At least we tell them to get on it like a fumble. But we want to try to throw it right down the line of scrimmage, or right down the horizontal from the quarterback, even a little bit in front. But just a different way of hitting that bubble and hitting it now. Now, let me get you some different views here of what's going on. So here's a back view. So now, what we also have, guys, is so we have this option. Basically, we have 3 plays in one. Okay, he could throw the bubble right now to him here. Okay, we have quarterback draw in the middle. All right, they kind of got 5.5 in the box, 6, whatever you want to call it, and we have a single side route over here. Now, when 2 things are even, we're going to throw it to this cat because that's our guy. Get the man the ball. He could easily throw one-on-one over here also. But we told him, hey, there's 6 in the box, 7 free safety. Man, we're basically 4-on-3 over here. We're 1-on-1 over there. I trust this kid. This kid went to Western Illinois, this quarterback last year. I would let him make the decision. If you don't, man, you can make the decision. I throw my hand out right, that means he's throwing to the bubble. If I throw left, he's single. If I point at him, that means run the draw. So a lot of this stuff is checked with me, but man, we started going fast with some of this because I trusted the quarterback to make the right decision. But as you can see, it's just like anything. It's 3 plays in one, and it's just man, he gets a running start, and again, it just hits the defense differently. And like I said, something we started about 2.5 years ago, and it's kind of developed, and I like it just because it hits differently. But, hey, it's bubble when it's all said and done. It's our quick screen game. Our receivers just have to, give them a 2-way go. Obviously, it's a little different blocking them, knowing you're going outside on bubble, but it's just a different look. Here's the wide view. Again, he could have went single side over here, taking the hitch. We obviously throw back the post, the glance. We have different things we can go to, but basically we're giving him 3 and 1. Then obviously, the main factor is coming off. We're coming off of that. We're going 4 vert, right? Stalk and go. And we have different things off of this. We do different counters, just like all of our bubble and quick screen game. But hey, we're gonna fake it and then throw it deep. And what's tough about this, in my opinion, again, it hits at a different pace for these guys, especially for this cat right here and this cat right here, right? This thing's hitting so much faster. These guys have to trigger a little faster. And so now I think it made our vertical stuff off of it better in this stuff than maybe the regular bubble. Because you have to decide a little bit quicker, in my opinion. It's a little bit faster. So you see, man, that stutter step, and it's just 4 vert, however you want to do it. Like I said, we do it a lot of different ways. of hitting the vertical stuff off this. But again, and that's no different than our bubble and go, or if we we sent bullet motion or whatever people call from the running back and go forward. It's forward for these guys. The linemen aren't changing. The receivers aren't changing. The only guy that's changing is that guy way back there. Let me get back to the wider view. Here we go. And you can kind of see where that guy's starting. 5, 10. So yeah, this kid's fast. He's probably the fastest kid I've ever had. So I think he was at 14 or 15 every time. We matched it up. It took about 1 day in practice to kind of time it out and see each kid. And like I said, some kids will stand here. Some kids will stand, they'll stand at 12 yards. They'll stand at 13 yards, short side, wide side. That's really all you got to go over. And there's only certain kids I'm letting go back there do this. And so we didn't waste – the whole team wasn't down back there doing tryouts. There's 2 or 3 guys we'd let do this. So watch one time here. But again, what I like about it is just the pace that it hits. It hits differently for us. And again, I think when I thought of it, it's like a punt return to me. With just a running start, and it gives them a little bit two-way goes. Few problems we had with those defenders getting in the gaps. If these guys are in the gaps here, we would tighten these guys up a little bit, back them off just a tad. So there's some different things we did to try to count over the years, things that people would do. But really if they started really gapping us, now they're wasting 2 people just on one, and then we would do just regular plays off of it again, kind of hurting them. This is just in the semifinal games, we brought a tackle over, and we made the tackle the C receiver, and just added a person. Now we still did quarterback draw here, and we still had a single side route over there, but we just added. Now, what we do, guys, which I'm going to get into in a second, sometimes I put my lineman over here as the C receiver. Sometimes I'll put a receiver out there with a lineman number. So now I really have 5 skill guys over here. This cat is a backup receiver that does a great job blocking. Maybe he's my 5th, 6th guy. Maybe he's a sophomore, junior that blocks. But instead of putting a lineman out in space, I put a receiver and a lineman's number out there. And we do that. We probably do that more than the lineman. Some years, if my tackler, I got a certain guard that can really move, which a lot of times our tackles are decent, and I really want to go fast and I don't want to sub, I'll put him out there. But other times, if I hurry up and we can make that change quick and go fast, we'll put a receiver in a lineman's number, which I'll get into some of that stuff more too here in a second. But just so you guys kind of see it there. So again, we got draw here inside. Obviously, they got 6 people. We're not probably running draw. Kind of one-on-one back here. Again, a lot of times it's a hitch, it's a go. Sometimes a glance, post. Your typical single side routes, right? You can do anything. And then we got you can't even see the guy back here. You can't see Hank back there. We feel good about this matchup. Really, what we got here now is a double team. We got him on him, we got him on him, and we're going to put our best athlete on him with a running start. And really that double team, I think that week, that double team, that safety was a heck of a player. It should have came off on that eventually, but we wanted to set the edge, we want to take care of what I call the bubble buster, the guy that's up there playing the bubble hard, usually the strong safety, right, or the outside backer who's we want to take him and make sure he is set, and then we'll get to the second level. And hey, give our best athlete the best chance for a running start. Again, it's like Oklahoma drill, but with a running start, so just a different way of doing it. There's a back view. All right, the next thing I'm going to show you guys, and this is something we've done for a long time. And my dad he was a big polecat guy. And if you guys got any questions about what I just talked about, please put it up there on the chat. I don't know if I see the chat stuff, but Coach, Black Coach Dan can tell me if if I got anything.
Far so good. No
All right.
questions yet. I'll let you know if somebody pops in with a question.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
So Dad was a big polecat guy. Man, he's been doing that since the 90s. And I like the polecat. I like the way he did it. I think there were some there are some negatives I didn't like. And so we were a big empty team when I first got here. We couldn't block anybody. Couldn't run the ball. So kind of a version of the polecat that I liked was, and it's kind of that A11 stuff, but hey, then A11 became illegal. Well, how do you make it? How do we make it legal? So what we did was we started moving our tackles out to receiver, basically. So really these guys right here are, say, our right tackle and left tackle. And you can put your center and guard, doesn't matter. We got 3 guys here, but basically to us, this is empty formation, right? It's 3-by-2. And we just put 2 linemen wherever we want to put them, really. Now, for the first few years, which I'm going to show you a few of these pictures, one of these games that we used the most was against, Richmond Burton in 2011. And we were the polar opposite teams. I had West Lunt. We had thrown for 5,000 yards. I think they had rushed for 5,000 yards probably. So we were the opposite. And so what we were trying to do was come up with ways to throw them off early in the game. But as years went on, we started putting, like I said, receivers and lineman numbers in these spots. Where, even though, like I said, we go fast, we still got a lot of two-way players. Like last year we had, I think, 7 on 11 were two-way starters. So it also gives my guys, this is a way to give them a break. Maybe my best tackle tackle who's usually my best D tackle. Get them out of the game for a breather if coaches got to talk to them, and I get 7 receivers in the game. Again, they just have to have linemen's numbers. Dad uses these they have it's almost like the pennies, and they got the numbers on, so they strap them on. We just put them in big double, triple X jerseys with lineman numbers that we have on the sidelines, and those kids usually know who they are. So I guess the best way is, let me show you here what I'm talking about. So like I said, this was a state championship game, Richmond Burton 2011. So we are an empty right. These 2 guys here are actually linemen. Okay, and these were linemen that year. This is our right tackle and this is our left tackle, but it's empty right. Kind of the same concept as the last thing is we really have 3 plays in one. Over here, we're running something. We can run quick game. We can run anything, right? In here, a lot of times we're running quarterback draw. And out here, a lot of times it's quick game, but it's also mainly quick screens, bubbles, nows. And so when I do put receivers out there as those linemen, they're more comfortable out there, number one, because they block bubbles and nows and all the quick screens we do. But like I said, this year we wanted to go fast. We didn't want to slow down. And I felt like our tackles could block in space. Now, to tell you the history of this game, first of all, it was a great game. I think we won by 2 points in the last minute. We had thrown for 500 yards. They had rushed. It was the most yards in a state championship game in the state of Illinois history. Then it was broke the next day by the Joliet Catholic Montini game, I think. But the quarterback's West Lunt, who started Illinois, but this kid right here was our leading receiver, and I said he was number 1 in the country. They had double teamed him the whole up to that point, and we saw early in the game, and he's getting doubled. So really, this was a distraction to get this cat right here the football, and this was the one few times they did not double team him. The other thing is this D tackle here. He was, I want to say, he was a heavyweight wrestler, state champ. We could in no way blocked him in this game. I mean, we told our guys, and usually, hey, just get ran over slowly at some point. But we knew, and I think a 2-way starter. We knew he was fresh. And what you're going to see, I think this is the second drive of the game. We had scored on the first drive, and you can see he doesn't even rush. They dropped 11 pieces. Basically, we ended up playing 7-on-7 with them in this game. And I'll kind of just let it run and show you the different things. A lot of this was checked with me, this game. But now we got 3-on-1, right? And hey, all we do is throw a hitch. But this is the first time they hadn't double covered them. This is the first time Man, there's no edge. I mean, you talk about easy pitch and catch for our quarterback to our receiver and our best player. This is what we were looking for. But we're playing numbers games, right? He's looking over, hey, are we going to run quarterback draw? Are we going to throw to these two? Are we going to throw to these two? And these guys think they're all getting the ball on a bubble, let's say. These linemen think, hey, we're running quarterback draw, which really just is pass pro. These two think the only guy who knows is the quarterback and me. So they better run their routes good. But you can see, man, they're literally, we have 3-on-1, and he kind of half rushes. These are their two. This is a DN, and I think this is a TN. So they hadn't, and we hadn't shown this much before that. At least the films they took in that game, I don't think we had shown it. So, man, next play. And I had originally planned on doing this maybe 2 or 3 times in this game. I think this is the most I've ever done in a game. I think we ran a version of this 18 to 19 times in this game. Probably should have done it more looking back at it. But, again, our guy right here, single coverage. And even though the go doesn't look like there, the go was always there. So any chance we could take to throw it to him, Zach Grant, on one-on-one, we were going to do it. So, man, one-on-one coverage, we're going to take a chance, and that was our guy. Again, this was their guy with 3-on-1, and this time he was tired, number one, and number two, I think he was somewhat confused. But watch how he rushes. I mean, and again, that he was a dude. But he had played offense, defense, was second drive. We were going fast. You see we're lining up quick. Now they move the nose tackle here. He's 5 yards back like a linebacker. So we're literally playing like 7-on-7 and really 7-on-10 at this point. But my quarterback, if you didn't rush him or he didn't get pressure, he's the best I've ever had. And he was an NFL type of guy throwing the ball. So now, again, hey, they're still kind of 2.5-on-2 over here. We still like it. Man, throw the bubble, right? And we get 10 yards on a bubble. Again, I told you we're a backpedaling team. Right, and here we go. Some other years, this was about 2 years later, we still do the same thing. Again, now these two guys out here are receivers with lineman numbers on. All right, so now we're going to just throw the quick screen. Basically what we showed you earlier where we back up 15 yards, but we didn't back him up 15 yards. He just ran the bubble. And then this year, this kid who catches, this was kind of our guy. This was our running back. Again, instead of just pounding him between the tackles 25 times, which I'd like him to touch the ball 25 times, he was also great hands, a way to get him the ball out there in space and not just pound between the tackles per se. You know? And the numbers, man, the quarterback, this is a smart kid. Again, he could have gone to the 2 receiver side. He could ran quarterback draw. He could throw quick screens over here. And I'm calling all this stuff, guys. These don't have new names. Man, this is basically just bubble screen with the quarterback draw with the whatever the 2-man quick game route is over there. Here's a back view. This is what I want right here. Hey, these kids are 16, 17-year-old kids. My guys are playing fast ready. This free safety, he doesn't know what to, you know. This is also the look we want, right? This is what you want. This is what you draw up, right? All right, hey, we're from here to here, we have a body on a body. You got 3 guys pursuing to the football with my best athlete from hash to sidelines. All right. So just finding ways, and what is this? This is like Oklahoma drill, right? A version of the 3-on-3 or 4-on-4 drill that you see. And it's my receivers out there. They got linemen's numbers, but they're really receivers. Try to pick the pace up a little bit. Hey, now that Taylorville showed us a different look, we still got 2-on-2. He could probably, quarterback draw. I think it was 3rd and short. You can see the back view. He looks over at me. But, man, now the DN's out here. So now we basically got 1, 2, 3. Man, he knows his short yardage he can get. Sometimes it's a good short yardage thing, too, especially if you can't pound somebody. You can't just run power or GT. This is a good way to get, get some yardage. Again, just, hey, bubble to the 2 receiver side. That was where they were weak. I'm going to get through this. You guys get the point of it. So now, like I said, different. Sometimes we put the tackles over on the empty side. Sometimes if my single outside receiver is the best, we'll go quattro. We'll go 4x1. We'll put our 2 tackles by the single side guy. Sometimes we'll put 1 tackle to the left, 1 tackle to the right. There's a million things you can do. But we want to try to keep our offense the same. Again, it's probably now quick screen over here. It's probably quarterback draw here. It's probably some kind of whatever quick game, 4 vert we've done. We can do quick screen over here to the right, but it's no different, right? It's our 4x1 stuff, which we don't do a ton of, but man, it's an easy way for us to adapt. So just change the look. So here, man, this was our best kid this year's to the short side, okay, down here. So now we got 2. Again, I think we put receivers in with lineman numbers. We got quick screen here. We got quarterback draw out here. We have, we have whatever. Just get them the ball. Again, here's what you want. You got big number. Their DN number 74 is kind of their bubble buster edge guy. He has 78. Looks like you think he's 78. He's a receiver, so he's been out there. We take care of him. Number 2 takes care of the corner. Hey, now we're making the safety who's on the hash come down and make the tackle, right? So just changing the look, changing the front, changing how things look. And he could also went wide side here, pretty easy because you can count the numbers. But again, our guy was that single side guy he just threw to. So again, comes right back to it next play. Now it's bad blocking, but again, now he goes. Now they over adjust, come to the weak side, and now our strength. So now we're just going to run bubble with number 4. Number 3 should have blocked him. 2 should have blocked him. And again, now the numbers were right. So the receivers blocked wrong, but the quarterback was right. Right. So we should have everyone blocked. They blocked it wrong, but still, man, worked out. Number 2 adjusted on the block there. So, so that was just something, man, something we, so usually when I break this out, this is my father's team, Sacred Heart. It's also a way of a distraction of hey, I don't tell the kids that. They think it's fun, but it's also sometimes man, they're better than us. We got to try something, or we're going to waste some time. We're going to think, which I'll show you some of that stuff too. Here's one where we move both guard and tackle to both sides. Okay, so the right guard, right tackle's here, left guard, left tackle's out here. I put 2 H-backs, fullbacks, or H-back running back. So I still have a 3-man surface to run quarterback draw. But the other thing is now these guys could run routes. They can just hit these little seam routes. So if they keep 3 D linemen or 2 D linemen and 1 linebacker, man, just again, it just changes. It really doesn't change the numbers. Doesn't change much for the quarterback. But we can do our quick game or single side quick screen now. We can do bubble and our quick game over here. You get the point. This was the end of the quarter. Dad thought Dad knows what we do pretty well. Thought it was a distraction. Well, they were playing games. They're used to our quick screens. Last second, we end up throwing a go just because it's there. And man, their safety got caught peeking the wrong time. And we took advantage of it. Again, we had long count. It said hit it. I think they thought, they're going to take it into the quarter. As I'll show you in the back view. Man, there's 20 seconds on the clock. Oops, sorry. And you can see, hey, man, we got 3 people protected. We're protect center just calls over there. Fullback, man. So the quarterback's protected. It's just like having two guards there. It's just our fullback and running back, and really these were two fullbacks. So, man, the quarterback looks over to me. He sees, man, they don't have a safety. Where our safety came down, kind of played the quick screen, and, man, we took advantage of it. So here's that look. Again, the left tackle, left guard. You can put over the right guard, right tackle, and put two fullbacks. Again, now, like I said, these guys just we do have some – and we do have some gimmick plays off these things. But the basics, like I showed you, hey, it's left, it's middle, it's right. And we got 3 plays in one. But we also have some gimmick plays where, hey, again, they put 2 D linemen and 1 Mike backer. Well, that Mike backer can't guard both those guys. So just different ways of doing it, given the looks. Here's against Chatham again, another 6A. They barely they made it to the semifinals, lost to East St. Louis this year. Team we play every year. Again, just find different ways. They're extremely well coached. They do everything the right way. Different. This year, this was our guy. He's a starting slot at Southern. This was his brother. And we also had a big 6'6" receiver. So now, like I said, hey, quick game. They're worried about bubble. Hey, this is just bubble slant for us. But now what it's done, guys, is it's changed these guys, these outside backers, right? They're supposed to drop, play curl first, then bust to the flat. Well, these guys think, man, we got to get to the flat. So now it's an easy read for the quarterback. And we'd never have a hole like this for the quarterback, right? I mean, that's a pitch and catch. So it just changes the defense, their approach, and all that. And the nose tackle, this is the other reason we did it, is because this guy, he's starting guard at Clemson right now. He ended up transferring to Florida, but I think he was first team or second team All-American at Clemson. We couldn't block him ever. So this was just a way to change and he didn't block him there either, as you can see. But changes the look, gives a different look. Hope you get the point of it. Again, man, this kid had been getting double teamed and coming up as a throw. Hey, it was single coverage. And most of the time you say, man, he's deep thirds. But, man, anytime this kid got some single coverage, we take a chance. And I know it's an incomplete pass here. Or here's just a quick screen first. Again, it's matchup numbers. This is our best athlete with the ball in his hands. These guys are smart enough, easy blocking. He's got him. And now we're making him make a tackle, or this big free safety way back here make a tackle against our best player in space. Again, even though this wasn't here, man, we wanted to we gave this kid a chance one-on-one coverage. And you can see, man, look at these two are linemen out here. I mean, they're showing their hands like it matters if they're on. They absolutely love this and eat this crap up. That they can stand out there like a receiver. I mean, it makes those guys' day. And I tell them, hey, he said, what route? I said, man, you can't go downfield. You just got to block, or, then eventually they learn it. But they still think just lining up like that. They put their hand out like, am I on? They absolutely love it. So, but again, it's fun, but it's something. It's a purpose. It's driving a purpose. The next thing, I want to make sure I'm good on time here. Coach, don't be afraid to tell me if I'm running out of time. I'm sorry.
Got you have a good about 15 minutes left still.
All right. This next one, guys, is something. Man, this is kind of something we do to kind of stall a little bit. Again. And I've been blessed that I haven't been in a situation too much, but, man, we've played dad a few times, and they're just flat better than us. We're never going to slow down for anybody, so I have to distract my kids. So this is a way, man, we basically, between center guard tackle, we get about a 6 foot, 8 foot split. We basically spread out through the whole field. Again, it's just 2-by-1 receiver, so our slots to the right, outsides to the right, single right, 2 back. You can go 2-by-2. But what this does is gives us an option. We're going to shift last second. So we're going to long count, long count, long count. I'll say the play, and then when the quarterback says shift, we're going to line up as quick as possible, call hike, and go. Sometimes its purpose is just to run power a certain way. They know hey, the fullback's in a king spot to the right. They know we run power. Well, we're going to line up as quick as we can, still run that play, but just hopefully their defense, and they're so well coached there, and some of the teams we play, we want to give them the least time possible to shift and see what we're actually doing. And then if they don't line up right, there's certain things we're going to do. But if they do line up, all we're really doing is shifting here last second. So you can see, man, shift, everyone shifts. I think we get unbalanced here. So basically our left tackle comes right tackle, tight end. And I think we just run power. Hey, and the power is what we are. And again, I usually do this against my dad because they're so well coached, but man, they shift. Again, we want to give them an unbalanced look, not be able to adjust, and we're just running power to a four-man side now, right? Here's the back view. Now, the other thing is say the three technique comes outside the guard, right? They keep a one, they keep a back, or we'll also just snap the ball and we'll run ISO, right? He'd base out on the three, he's on the one, we'll fold him through, so there are some things we do on this that are a little bit for this formation and play. Few answers we have for the quarterback, but really we're looking to shift. So again, we go unbalanced here. Tackle comes over. And we just didn't block him, but you get the point. And I think we ran quarterback outside zone, which we never run zone. That's why it looked like crap. But you get the point. Again, we want to do something last second. We want to stall without telling my kids we're stalling. That kind of thing, so. Here is my dad again, another year. They were probably a little better than us. Shift. All right, this next thing we're going to do is, this was the state championship game. One thing I've always argued is, I think as football coaches, sometimes we just fall under the umbrella of, hey, this is how it's done. My old line coach does a great job. Everybody needs to learn how to snap the football. So sometimes I like our left tackle to snap. Sometimes I like our left guard to snap, our right guard, our right tackle. We'll shift the lines. I don't know why the middle guy always has to snap the ball right. In the state championship game this last year that we won, we had noticed something on tape, and I'll probably do a better job explaining it from here. So this was our best player. When we did fly sweep, they basically kind of turned it into man coverage. It was man, and anything backside was held off by the end. Right? He had reverse boot, counter. He was the responsibility. So if the center was snapping, we thought, man, let's let our left tackle snap the ball. Now his edge is closer. So when we hand it off, he would have had the quarterback responsibility out here. Well, we know from that angle. Now, if he's at this angle, like a normal defensive end, right defensive end, he can see that coming. We put him here. He didn't see it coming as well because he was a hell of a player, hell of an athlete. Hand the ball off. Man, he was late, saw it late. Again, this is a team we could not pound. This is a team that we had to do some different things, I felt, especially with the weather the way it was. They're usually they play in the Catholic League top conference, and they had just been moved down for 2 years. So that, as a team we'd never play. It was kind of one of those dream matchups, and our kids, man, we pulled it off. So, but you see, by changing this, and I'll show you the back view. So really, right now, our left tackle is the one snapping the ball. And I think you could do this passing the ball. I said, now say you're throwing to the left side and you're just in 2-by-2. Man, there's no edge for the quarterback. You know, why not change it, right? Why not do some of these things? If you're a zone team and you're running zone, inside zone or outside, why not change this some? We're not like I said, we're a gap scheme team, but if I were a zone team, I don't know why more people don't do this. You know, even if you move your center here and put, you know, whatever you want, put your center at the different spots, you know, it's kind of a neat thing. But again, we knew 44 was responsible for anything backside. When you got single side fly or single side away, again. And that was utilizing our best player, our receiver, who's going to be our quarterback, right? Just in different ways. They were worried about him. He had killed him in the first half in that game. I think he had 240 yards receiving. And so, but let me I know I only got a few more minutes. Here's another thing we do. I mean, I love this. I got this from, I think, Coach Herbie Hand in Vanderbilt. And so we call it Vanderbilt. But, man, we basically shift the linemen, you know, and kind of do the same thing and different things we do out of it. And you want to talk about confusing a team. And so they call timeout. But you see, and this is Griffin. There's well coaches that come. Here's their 5 technique. There was their 1, is now their 5. And he's goes to end and say, hey, if we were a zone team and we call hike, now look at this side we have. But just different ways. And this made them, and really what we wanted them to do was, I remember, this was 2012. We wanted them to use the timeout, and they did. But you'll see here. So, man, you talk about here, like I said, here's their DN. Here was their 1 technique. Here's their 3, and now look at this, man. If you ran quarterback zone, just different things you can do. All right, one thing we do, and this was this year, man, we had to play my dad for the first time ever in the quarterfinals. We were the smallest big team in 5A, and so we had never had to play them in the playoffs, which really sucked. And it was awful. It's one thing in the regular season to play your dad and lose or win. Hey, you learn from it, especially from a team like them. We usually learn a lot in the losses. But this is man, you know, you get a lot of the teams that, hey, you check with me, you long count, said, hey, they look over, we look over, we call a play. But a lot of times the good teams, they adjust, right? They'll call something different, they'll move. Well, we knew I think there was 5 seconds left in the half. We long count, man, we caught these guys, they had been looking over. So, man, we're going to just silent count, throw the fade. Linemen don't move. Man, it was a huge play. We tied it up right before half, and we got the ball in the second half, so this was huge. But you can see these guys were looking at me. I'm just distracted down here. You get these guys' eyes. So, man, and this kid was about 5'10", and this kid was about 6'2". Man, with no help. Again, he was just a second distracted. Look at him. He stands up just for a second. Just throws you off. Watch it from the back view. So look what their kids look over. They start looking at each other. Hey, what should we do? And they don't even know the ball snapped. Linemen don't move. You can see, man, we tied it up with 5 seconds. Tied 21-21. The other time we do this is if I know a lot of times when I start yelling, because everything's verbal and I'm here, these guys look over at me. And so if my coach or anyone catches them looking over while we're doing that, we'll come to this play. And they actually adjusted that time, but that corner had been cheating, and this was just lucky. But again, the end of the half, man, and that was our best player that year. That's a terrible view, sorry. Against man teams, hey, we've done this before where we put a fullback that looks like a tackle, Man, we put our right tackle or our left tackle out there, 3-by-1 match. We drag, man, roll. Sometimes we fall down. Sometimes we just wait and he slips out. Great play versus man. Because, man, they don't even notice. I think he's a tackle, right? It was against Belleville, Alta. We had some battles against them, and they could play man-to-man now. So we had to find ways to score against them a lot of times. That find a way, right? We call this Moses. It's the parting of the Red Sea. So, hey, find different ways and be like, hey, this was our Tyreek Hill. Get him back here. Flare him right, flare him left. We're a big screen team. Hey, we moved my dad. Hey, they're well coached. You get your left guard, right tackle out of there. He waits. He just splits. You'll see it better from behind. And he should have been more patient here. We knew these guys, hey, man, they're reading guards, right? So then tackle gets anything, man, they go out, he goes out. You get the right guard, right tackle out, he's reading guard. Man, he should have kind of found the grass a little bit better. Number 45 here. He's going to kind of be a ninja and wait. But you can see this is another gimmick, something. Empty punt. You know what? I'm gonna end it there because I think I'm out of time. But man, do I have any questions? Anything I can answer? Is there anything, Coach, that anybody or man you guys can ask now? I'll give you a minute or so. I want to thank Coach for having me. I hope this was some. Again, this is not who we are or what we do. It's fun. I love it. You know, this isn't like the gimmick on site every time thing. Not that that's bad, but this is something that I think gives us an advantage. It's fun. It's makes the other team practice it. Also helps gets our guys the ball the best way that we can. And so, man, I hope you got something out of it. Like I said, do not be afraid. Let me get to my email on the back. Hold on. Last one. Ooh, I do got a question. You see on the bottom there, guys, man, that's my email. So please, Derek, how much crazy concepts do you take into a game and how much practice time is devoted to it generally? Yeah, good question. It matters the game. There's certain things where the linemen were out. That's kind of something pretty basic that has stayed in our offense. The shifting of linemen is some of the stuff. I would say a fourth of the stuff we do certain years, right? In other years, we might not use it again for 3 or 4 years just because of the type of team, whatever it may be. A lot of the receivers moving out stuff that, with the receiver 15 yards back, a lot of that stuff carries. A lot of this stuff is just formation learning. 95% of what I just showed you guys, I'm calling a play that they're used to, right? That the linemen are used to, that the receivers are used to. I'm not changing. There are a few things that I had to change or a gimmick, I guess. But I usually take 2 or 3 things into a game, and in some games it's 0, right? And it's usually the games, hey, I need to find a way to compete. I want to show the team the next game some stuff that I want them to go over. It just matters the style of game, right? And so some games it's none, some games it's 3 or 4. Some games in a state championship, we did it 16, 17 times. So that's a good question. It doesn't matter the game. What I really try not to do is change and put a ton of stuff, you know what I mean, inoffensively that's new or that they don't understand, right? I don't want to waste time with something they don't know. Now, learning the formation, hey, and a lot of times, like I said, it's been easier when I put my receivers out there in lineman number because they understand space better than the linemen. So that was a good question. Any others? Okay, thank you, Coach.
Hey, yeah, Coach, I really appreciate you hopping on. Good stuff here, and always enjoyed seeing some of the information you guys put out and some of the things you do, to give your kids an advantage. So I greatly appreciate it, and thanks for supporting the causes here.
No problem. Hey, thank you, man. You guys support it. And like I said, you guys need anything, God bless you. And thank you. Stay safe out there.
Take care, Coach. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Man. Appreciate it.
Yep. All right, fellas. We got Coach Gower's going to go ahead and try to get his 3-4 talk going again. He was having some issues down there in Texas. Hoping to get him going here again, and so he can give his little 3-4 talks on his tags and adjustments and base alignments here. So I'm going to get him connected. Let's see if he's on.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I got you here, Coach. All right, so. All right, Coach. So should be good to go here. Hopefully everything's a little bit better down there for you.
We'll see, man. Blackouts. Hey, if this doesn't work, we'll go Thursday night at 8 o'clock Central Time. So anybody who wants to be interested, it's on Twitter. I'm assuming the same ID and all that good stuff, right, Dan?
Absolutely, yep. So we'll give a shot, like Coach said, and if it doesn't work, we'll shoot for Thursday night to get this talk going. So want me to introduce you here, or you just want to get rolling right into it?
Just get, dude, I don't want to waste. I mean, I appreciate it, but let's go.
All right, we'll get rolling then.
Guys, if you want to get on my Twitter, it's at Coach Gower, all one word. Okay, we'll go as long and as fast as we can. Earlier, we're a 3-4. We getting the hold tight, double eagle, what anybody wants to call it. So